mean, goals are always in our life. I mean, you know, why are we working in the first place? Why do we, you know, toil away at a 9-to-5 job? Maybe it's to pay the bills, an unconscious goal in many respects. Maybe it's to have a couple extra bucks so we can go on a date this weekend. Maybe it's to save enough money for a car. These are all unconscious goals. So why wouldn't it be enough to just have those unconscious goals and desires in moving us forward towards what we really want, towards manifesting that magnificence that I talked about earlier as part of that leap of faith process? Well, the fact is that goal setting has been around a long, long time. And you asked about writing your goal down. Let me first say this. It was interesting. I was reading an article about Arnold Schwarzenegger just recently, and I think there's certainly one thing we can all agree on this call. Even if you don't agree that you should write down your goals or set specific goals, we can all agree that Arnold Schwarzenegger is certainly one of the great achievers of our time. With that said, it's been quoted that Arnold became, this is what they said in the article, Arnold became a great believer in committing himself to goal setting, and at the same time drawing up a plan of how to execute those goals. Those are two key critical components in the achievement process. The first is setting a goal. And you ask, why write it down? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One is it becomes the first action step. I mean, it takes it from the mental obscurity of our brain and our body, and it puts it out into the universe. It puts it out into the energy of the world. And it becomes the first actual action step. Because let's face it, we all have these things that run through our mind. I'd like to do this. Or whatever it might be, a beautiful woman, a nice-looking guy, a wealthy bank account, whatever it might be, that we have these sort of desires to have in our life. But we don't necessarily say, I am going to achieve that. That's what I'm going to have. That's step number one. Step number two is saying, okay, let's make it official. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to take the first action step in creating that goal, in manifesting it in my life. I'm going to write it down. Number one, it is the first action step. Number two, it makes it real. Number three, it becomes a constant reminder. You can pin it up on the refrigerator, on your bathroom mirror. It can become a constant reminder of what it is that you intend to achieve. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. In fact, I write about a story of when early on in my bodybuilding career, when I decided to make some changes, set some goals, because I wasn't going anywhere. I thought it was just going to happen, and it wasn't just happening. Instead, I was standing still, maybe even moving backwards. So I wrote down all these goals and things that I wanted to achieve, and I put them up on my mirror in the bathroom. And about 6 months later, after looking at them every single day and not being one step closer to achieving them, I tore the things down. I was in a rage. I was pissed off. I was more pissed off than I was before I wrote them. So it doesn't guarantee it by any means. It's just the first step in making it a reality. It's the first step in committing yourself to the universe and to yourself, your own unconscious mind, that this is something you're committed to doing. This is something you will achieve. The other thing that it does do, and we'll talk about why writing goals down certainly doesn't guarantee your success. But the third component to writing down your goals, it creates what I like to call perturbation. And perturbation is pressure, basically. And I define it as constant, even constant pressure pushing down on an object, moving it from where it is. A piece of coal, for example, under millions and millions and millions of tons of earth, will ultimately be pressed into something that is unrecognizable. It certainly didn't look anything like coal once it came through the other side. It was a diamond, one of the most valuable, hardest substances on the planet. So when you write something down, you begin the first step in the perturbation process. You begin the pressure. Now it's real. Now it's written down. It's not just up here in my head anymore. Now there's pressure that begins the process of change, from changing you from a piece of coal into a diamond. So that's one of the key components there. Now, there's something that I write about in the 7 Rules of Achievement, and I'd be happy to share it. I don't know if we have time, but I call it the action goals criteria, because when we write down our goals, one of the key components is how we write it down, what kind of language are we using, and what kind of impact is it having on the universe, the energy of the universe, and our unconscious mind. Because the language that we use, not just in verbally expressing what we want to achieve, but also writing down what we want to achieve, is critical. And let me say that again, it's critical in your ability to achieve it. So I've created this formula I call the action goals criteria. And it's about writing down your goals, with the right language and the right energy so that you start to, the momentum, start the energy toward being able to achieve it. So writing it down, though, is the first step. And those are the three things that it really achieves. It's the first action step in making it happen. It makes it visible. You're constantly reminding yourself of it, and you've created perturbation. It's real. Now you're under some pressure to achieve it.